What are the different things that you can do with AI? First, so I'll tell you that for me, I use I would say probably 50% of the time for brainstorming to treat it as an assistant with brainstorming, and the other 50% with actual communication. So when I'm struggling with a communication challenge, I'm looking at that blank email compose screen, and I know what I want to say. I'm struggling to find the right words to say it to get the most impact based on the situation that I'm in or the person that I'm trying to communicate with. I've explained it to them a million times of why it's important to do A, B, and C, or what are the risks of doing whatever it is that they want to pursue. And so I use AI for those two things. Now, if you apply those same two concepts, brainstorming and for communication, isn't that at the core of what we need to do from a job hunting perspective, or even to impress people at your current job? So to brainstorm on your own skills and experience and how your skills and experience or the things that are interesting to you, your passions, your hobbies, can be applied to find the right types of companies or industries or roles that you might want to apply to look for a job. Because even if you're on this journey to pursue a career as a ServiceNow system admin or a ServiceNow developer, chances are that most of the time the job posting that you're going to be applying to might not have those words anywhere in the job title at all. And even if you actually pursue, that doesn't necessarily mean that's really going to resonate with you, and that's not necessarily going to get you excited. You need to find a job, a role, and responsibilities, and a type of company and a type of industry that really resonates with you, that allows you to get excited when you even think about going to work the next day, and has you feeling rewarded by the type of work that you're doing, and you're mentally stimulated and you're doing the kinds of things that you really want to do. So AI can help you tremendously from a brainstorming perspective to even figure out internally, what is it that I should be looking for? What kind of skills and work experience can I focus on when looking for a job? What types of industries can I look at that where all of these different things that I'm interested in come together? Anyway, with that being said, let's move on to the next slide over here. So I talked about identifying your strengths. And what does that really mean? I touched on it a moment ago. It's a little bit about self-reflection, and AI can be used to help you to reflect on the things that you're interested in, to gather some feedback. It's not only gathering feedback from other people, it's also you gathering feedback from yourself. It's part of that self-reflection. You're part of it also. Am I interested in what do I think I really excelled at? What kinds of things do I see myself doing in the future? And also evaluating your accomplishments. So you might have accomplished a lot of things, but you don't even necessarily realize that those other things that you accomplished give you tremendously valuable foundational skills that can be transformed and applied to the next thing that you're about to do. Let me give you an example. Let's make believe for a moment that you volunteered in the past. You volunteered at a local hospital. And let's say you volunteered just to help out patients, to, let's say, distribute food to patients or paperwork to patients. And you've had various interactions with the patients and their families, and you found it incredibly rewarding. And you're thinking, yeah, big deal. It's just a volunteer thing I did in high school or college. And yes, it was rewarding, but I don't really see how that can apply to anything that I'm looking to do now as far as pursuing my career in the ServiceNow ecosystem. If part of the things of what you did, even though it was not part of your job description, is maybe solving problems for some of the patients and family members. Maybe you helped facilitate their intake process or their discharge process, or helping to correct the, let's say, the meal preferences, the food preferences of a particular patient, and comfort the family with whatever struggles they had, because maybe they complained how a particular nurse wasn't so friendly to them, and you tried to resolve some of those issues. So you're now a problem solver. You are someone who is empathetic and working really from a customer service perspective, even though that was not part of your job title or your official role in any way. But these are things that you accomplished in the past, whether you were paid for it or not. And those are strengths that you might have that when you think back on those experiences, your face lights up and you're thinking, I would love to have some of those elements as part of my day-to-day job. You might even feel that, you know what, working in a hospital environment is very comforting to me, and I really like that, and I find it very rewarding. And maybe you can get even more specific that you really like working in the oncology group or the post-surgical group or the pediatric group. And you can start to identify the different things that you've experienced in the past that you want to take forward with yourself in whatever career journey you pursue. And that requires a lot of self-reflection and then trying to, like I said before, figure out how to connect the dots and bring that into your future experiences. Okay, here are some sample prompts that you can use when working with any AI tool. So it could be Gemini, it could be ChatGPT, it really could be any AI tool at all. And let's just look at some of these. And if some of you are interested, I can copy and paste and show you what it's like to use any of these prompts in an AI tool. So first one is exploring skills and achievements. And this is the prompt over here. Act as an experienced career coach. So actually, let me back it up a little bit. Let me define. All right, I see some of you really want me to do it. So I'll go ahead and I'll share my screen in a moment. I'll use ChatGPT because why not? I used the term of a prompt, and I didn't really define what that is. So for those of you who are not familiar, I'll explain. When interacting with a tool like ChatGPT, almost all of these tools have a chat-like experience. So it's somewhat similar to using an instant messenger type of a tool or WhatsApp type of a tool where it's like a thread of a conversation. And what you're putting into it, that's called the prompt. What you're getting out from the tool, the response that you get from the tool, that's referred to as the output. So when crafting a prompt, and by the way, this is a whole other career option that some people might want to pursue, which is prompt engineering, which is the art and science of creating prompts that really get the type of output that's needed for particular use cases. So to structure a prompt, I like to think of things in a very simplistic way. So I'm going to break it down to 3 components to a prompt. There's a prefix, there's a suffix, and there's what's in the middle. So if any of you have gone to a tool like ChatGPT and just put in something like, give me a list of dog-friendly, family-friendly dogs for a family with kids, you might get a decent response. But if you've ever had an experience where you said, yeah, that response sucked and it doesn't know what it's talking about, the output that you're going to get is directly correlated to the quality of the input that you put in. So when I talk about the prefix, the suffix, and the middle, there's the prefix for your prompt should be telling the AI the role that it should have. Tell it. So if, let's say, for example, you want to use the AI from a party planning perspective, you need to start your prefix with something along the lines of act as an experienced party planner. That's the prefix. It could be a full sentence. That's totally cool. So that's where you see over here for these prompts, and for almost all of the prompts that you're going to see in this presentation, they're all going to be very similar. The exact words that you use are not that important, but you need to assign it a role. Think of making it act in a certain way, play as an actor or an actress in a particular movie. Act as an experienced career coach. Act as an experienced career coach. Act as an experienced career coach. Very simplistic. Why do I have the same prefix for all of these? Because the type of output that I want, the type of insights and experience and perspective that I want from this tool, it's from the perspective of an experienced career coach. I want the AI to basically be my virtual career coach to help me with career-related stuff. So that's the prefix. The suffix, I did not necessarily include the suffix that I'm about to suggest to you. I did not necessarily include this suffix in any of the prompts that I'm giving you, but I'm going to explain what it is, and it'll start to make sense in a moment why I did not include it here. The ideal suffix is usually the following: ask any clarifying questions before proceeding. And the reason for that is because you might be giving it some instruction, telling it like the type of help that you want from the tool, but you might not have even thought of some key critical elements that the AI needs to know in order to give you the best answer. What's in the middle is basically the core of your request. So let's take a look at the first one that I have here. So we talked about the prefix, so you should already get that. Here we have the core of it, which is I'm preparing for job hunting and need to identify my top skills and achievements. So basically, we're still framing what it is that here's the use case, here's the situation that I need your help with. Can you guide me through a series of questions to help me articulate my professional strengths and notable accomplishments from my past jobs or projects? In almost all of these prompts that I'm giving you, the suffix really already is asking it to essentially interview me to gather more information from me. So that's why I didn't include any of these types of, and by the way, I'm going to copy and paste over here, and I'm going to open up ChatGPT to show you. Let's hit exit over here, and let's go in here to show you what it looks like. Let me just move this to another screen where I can expand this a little bit more. And I'm going to simply paste what I just showed you in the presentation. I'm simply going to paste it here. Act as an experienced career coach. I'm preparing my job hunting and need to identify my top skills and achievements. But you can ignore the fact that Grammarly is not so happy with my prompt here.
Hey, Dave, I can't see anything. I see a black screen.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. So hang on one second, because I could have just kept talking, and that's not good. Okay, here we go. So now you can see the Grammarly or suggestions that I was getting. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I copied and pasted, and I'm just going to hit enter. That's it. Absolutely. Let's embark on this journey together to uncover and articulate your professional strengths and notable achievements. Think of it as a treasure hunt where we're going to uncover the gems of your career. Ready? Let's talk about your skills. First, let's dive into identifying your top skills. Reflect on challenges. Think back to a project or job where you face significant challenges. What skills helped you overcome those challenges? Were you analytical or problem solver, or perhaps your communication skills shown through? Feedback frenzy. Recall any feedback you've received from peers, supervisors, or clients. What skills do they often highlight or commend you for? Sometimes others see your strengths in us that we overlook. Joy on the job. Parts of the past jobs or projects did you enjoy the most? Now, onto your achievements. So it's already giving me a ton of questions that I can respond with. And based on my responses, it's going to continue the thread of the conversation to refine the outputs to, in the end, give me like, oh, here are my skills, my accomplishments, my values, the things that are passionate to me to help me find my next role. Any questions on any of this?
We have Sophie hand up. Sophie.
Sophie, go for it.
Hi, David. My name is Sophie. I am a CSA and CSM. Thank you so much for your presentation so far. I do have a quick question.
Sure.
What instances, I did ask it in the Q&A, so when you guys get to that point,
Sorry,
you
it's
over it.
overwhelming to see. Yeah, go ahead.
No worries. My question to you is, in what situations and what instances would you recommend adding your resume test in order to get a more pinpointed response?
We're actually getting there. So before you jump to the resume, we need to get a sense of what is it that we want to focus on, what are our strengths? Because if I were to continue this conversation where I'm doing this, as I mentioned before, brainstorming with the AI, and then as I keep going further, I'm like, okay, great. Now, based on all of the skills, accomplishments, passions that I have that we talked about before, the different industries, the different types of roles, the different types of responsibilities I'm looking for in the work environment that I'm looking for, can you help me review and refine my resume and just copy and paste the text of the resume and pop it in there? So that's one of the beauties of almost all of these AI tools, that the thread of the conversation, everything from up above, again, think of it like you're having a chat with a friend. That thread of conversation is still known. It's still part of the memory of the AI, and it's still brought into context with the additional responses and outputs that you're going to get from the AI. So absolutely, you need to put in your resume also to get feedback on the resume. Not only that, even before the resume, if you have a potential job posting that you're considering pursuing, based on the thread of the conversation. So just imagine you keep going through and you're identifying your skills and achievements and the past roles that you've had and the transferable skills that you've had, etc. And then you copy and paste a job posting that you're considering, and you can then ask it, do you think I'm a good fit for this role? Or where do you think my weaknesses are or my strengths are as it relates to potentially applying to this role? Make sense? All right, let's go back over here, because I could, if I stay in ChatGPT or any of the other tools, you can see over here, by the way, I have Gemini open. I also have another tool that I absolutely love called Jasper open. Like, we could jump into any one of these. I could show you a gazillion different use cases. I can talk about this, not for 12 hours, for 12,000 hours. And some of
Hey,
you might be
Dave,
bored to tears.
Dave, I have a real question.
Yes, sir.
If somebody have their resume, could we like give them like a real prompt, like your resume, or somebody who want to share their resume with you? Could we like,
You know what? Yes, you absolutely can. If someone wants to pop it to upload it into the chat, we can absolutely do that. I'm going to do this sample ServiceNow system admin resume. Let's see if we can find one online. I don't know. And okay, we have this. And does it let me download it? No, it doesn't let me download it. Oh, okay. We got two of them right here. Jess and Elwin. Let me go ahead and I'll download Jess's only because it's the first one. So I'm not playing favorites, I promise. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to start a brand new chat and just blank canvas. And what I'm going to do is,
hey, look, hey, listen, hey, Dave, I'm already excited. Like, I ain't even seen that yet, but like the fact that we're doing live demo with the resume, oh, let's get into it. Let's go, Dave.
it's all good. So I'm opening up in Word, and why is Word giving me a hard time over here? Okay, fine. So all I'm doing is I'm copying. You don't necessarily need to see me copy and paste from Word, but I'm copying from Word. Before I paste it, I'm going to do this. Act as an experienced career coach who specifically focuses on helping ServiceNow system. By the way, because all of these AI tools are masters at language and communication, you don't need to be as OCD as I am when it comes to grammar and punctuation when putting in anything in the AI. Generally speaking, it knows better than you do of what you actually meant. I apologize. I can't help myself. I sometimes feel the need to correct the typos as I'm typing into ChatGPT and all of these other tools, but you don't need to do that. Specifically focuses on helping ServiceNow system admins find spectacular jobs that are most appropriate for their experience. I need your help. Below is the text of my resume. Can you help me identify improvements that I should make to optimize my resume for a role as a ServiceNow system? Okay, I'm going to leave that typo. I am not going to allow myself to fix it. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to paste from Word. And it doesn't matter that that is like gobbledygook, because in Word, you guys don't necessarily see the Word version, but in Word, it's a nice formatted table with rows, and it doesn't matter. ChatGPT understands it. So I'm just going to hit submit. And let's see what we got. As a career coach specializing in ServiceNow system administration roles, let's elevate your resume to not just reflect your capabilities, but to tell a compelling story of your professional journey. Here's how you can optimize it. Headline and summary. Your current headline is straightforward, but let's make it pop. Consider, okay, so by the way, it's giving recommendations, which is completely fine because that's really what I asked for. But after all of this, I'm not going to even bother reading through it. But you can see here that it's acting as a coach, like someone who's redlining through the resume and putting comments and here are the things that I would improve. And let's say I'm in full agreement. Wait, for humor and every certification earned or conquest, you're on your way to become. Okay. I don't even know what that's all about, but whatever. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make believe that I am nodding in full agreement with all of the recommendations that I gave, but my head is spinning. I'm completely overwhelmed because I feel like it's going to take me a month to figure out how to implement all of the recommendations. So now I'm going to go here and respond to the AI and say, this is great. Can you help me rewrite the actual resume? Let's do text on the resume. Because if I say actually update the resume, it's going to say, I don't have access to your Word. Okay, actual text of the on the resume to correspond to implement all of the recommendations above. Thanks. Whether or not you need to do something like that, thanks. I don't know. It makes me feel better. I feel like it's like my therapist, like my best friend. Sometimes I respond by saying, I love you, AI. You're the best. Does it help? I have absolutely no clue, but it makes me feel good. Okay, so here we have for Jess, dynamic professional equipped with certifications and a proven track record in designing and optimizing ServiceNow solutions, adept in steering cross-functional teams toward the seamless execution. This is pretty impressive. Commended for translating complex technical concepts into user-friendly solutions, proven ability to spearhead projects that enhance. Now, you might feel that some of the wording here, although it might be like, you're making me look really good. You might feel like, I would never use words like that in a sentence. So that's where you should change it. And I'm going to show you in a moment how to do that. I don't know if it's needed for anything else down below, because especially if it's just bullet points, but for something like this in particular, I'm going to show you in a moment how I would address that. And you would see that a lot with the output from many AI tools, not only ChatGPT, where it sounds like way too formal textbook. No, this is not a Shakespearean, I don't know what. Okay, let's see what we have over here. Professional experience, next-gen teaching assistant ServiceNow, instrumental in guiding students to successful certification with X% achieving their goals due to my tailored support. Innovative training methods that clarified complex concepts, enhancing program effectiveness and student performance. This is pretty darn cool. Pending certifications, list any certifications you're currently pursuing, technical skills, education. Okay, this is very cool. Okay, so now what I would do is, yes, as Sophie says, you can ask it for a specific tone. So I'm going to select only this text, not the rest, only this text. And you can see, so this is one of the nuances of ChatGPT, where by selecting it, I now have these quotation marks, similar to when you're instant messaging with a friend. And you can simply select this text. And now the AI will know, you see it copied it down below. Now the AI knows that whatever I'm about to type correlates just to this text and nothing else. So now I'm going to say something like, this is great, but far too formal and wordy for me. Can we match the tone so that it's more conversational and friendly and easier to read? Let's see what we get. Oh, it's redoing the whole resume after all. Okay, that's not what I asked for. No, this is terrible. This is terrible. Okay, I'm glad this happened because this is a good example for me to point out. You cannot always rely. This is horrible. No, please stop. Please stop. I'm going to vomit on you. What you get from the AI, treat the AI as if it is a 19-year-old male who is working for you as an assistant, who thinks they know far more than they actually do. Okay, so it will speak with authority and confidence that's not exactly warranted. So it will get things 60 to 70% right. not 100% right. You cannot take word for word whatever you get from AI, regardless of the topic, regardless of what you're asking it for. You cannot take it as gospel whatsoever. You need to review it. This is horrible. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to go back over here up on top. And you know what? I think for some reason when I did the reply, maybe it didn't capture the whole thing. So you know what? I'm going to go up here and copy just that text. And I'm going to change my wording. So I'm going to go back to this section. So you see I went in this part of the prompt and I'm simply editing this section. So I'm going to reword this and say, for the section below, this part only is far too formal and wordy for me. Can we match the tone? Let's reword that. Can you update the text below so that this section is far more conversational and easier to read? Okay, now I'll paste the text and now I'll hit submit and now let's see what we get. Oh my God, it's still doing the whole resume. I didn't ask for that. Okay, I would never, oh, it's funny. It only did the top part. It did not need to do this. This is not horrible. I would never think of putting a tone like this in my resume. Coding, yeah, I do that too. No, but this is better than what we had before. I would go here and do something like, okay, that was a bit too casual. Can you try again? And you can keep doing this over and over again, regardless of the type of the topic or the type of prompt or the type of output that you're trying to get from the tool. You know what, this is a lot better. So this I would get rid of, but let's take a look at this. And I think this might be good. Just scanning it, it looks like it's a lot better. I bring a solid mix of tech savvy and hands-on experience to the table. My journey has been all about creating slick ServiceNow solutions. Okay, not so terrible. You could use the word slick in the intro of a resume that businesses really love. I thrive on teamwork, guiding folks through the technical maze to a place where IT service management just clicks. When it comes to programming, as part of my everyday language, I've got to, you know what? This is really good. I would simply remove this introductory part, but this is way better than what we had all the way on top in the beginning. So this is part of like where you can see how leveraging the AI from a brainstorming perspective, like treat it like it's not like using a calculator. It's not like looking up something in Wikipedia. You're treating it like your brainstorming assistant on practically any topic. I'm going to ask if anyone has any questions. Still taking a little of the time. Yes, this is, as Joe's comment, even if the AI only gets it 60%, it's still saving you a tremendous amount of time just to get to that 60%. And that's where I think it's tremendously beneficial.
I was going to jump in and say, hey, even though it didn't get us right, but it took us 10 minutes, but like trying to do that with your husband or wife or having them look over your shoulder.
Hours.
Yeah, hours. And they say, explain me more. Cause I'm dyslexic and I'm neurodiverse. So I have to like Chris tell me. So ChatGPT been a lifesaver for me. Birdie, I'll be over here. I'll be just like I'm DJing. I'll be having like 3-4 different versions before I send a long email. I used to get anxiety. I still do get anxiety, but to your point,
absolutely,
50% there.
Now, by the way, I'm gonna show you something that we're gonna take. CJ has a question. What is that overlay? So the overlay that you might notice where it says AI PRM over here, I'm a geek, so don't necessarily go down the crazy rabbit hole that I've gone down. This is a plugin that I pay for ChatGPT that also gives me tons of templates. Like, think of it as like community created templates that other people have created, and it's called AI PRM. You don't necessarily need it. And the stuff that I'm showing you here has nothing to do with, it's visible, like in the background, that watermark. If you did the same thing that I just did in ChatGPT, you would get the same type of output. Just don't get distracted by that. And I don't want to take you down the rabbit hole of what that's all about and how cool it is. I'm not trying to get you to buy anything. I just want to open your minds about how you can use AI. But before we go further, I just want to show you real quick. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to copy and paste just his resume again. And I'm going to go here and say, by the way, these are the part of the templates that from that plugin of AI PRM. This is what it's about. where there's a whole library of templates. And if I wanted to search, I can search the over 4,827 prompts that are here, but we're not going to do that now. Act as an experienced career coach for ServiceNow system admins. Below is the text of my resume. Can you help me identify some really cool companies that I might consider applying for, where my skills and experience might be a good fit? And I'm just going to paste. 15 minutes before session end. Oh my God. Anyway, so it's giving me some ideas over here. Potential employers to consider: tech giants, ServiceNow itself, Deloitte, Accenture, PwC, financial services firms. So again, from a brainstorming perspective, you can take this in a lot of different directions. So when you think of like your resume and how you can leverage your resume to start a conversation with the AI, it's more than just updating the resume. It's a lot more than that. All right. With that being said, I'm going to Dave Volpe. You're funny. Okay. Let's go back over here, and I'm going to walk you through real quick. I'm going to give you all access to this presentation. It doesn't have to be a read along. It's not Dr. Seuss bedtime. You're going to have a copy of this. You're going to be able to copy and paste all of the prompts that you have in here. I think the concept that I meant to bring across to you, I hope I was successfully able to do that, to open your minds a little bit. And you can use this deck as a springboard to take it a little bit further and to take action on it. So we talked about prompts to identify your strengths. Craft a standout resume with AI. Guess what? Before I even got to this slide, we already did it. You have some ideas on how to do that. And here you have some prompts that you can use with the AI in order to leverage, like, here's my resume, or I don't have a resume. Help me create a resume based on the following skills and experience, etc. Tailoring cover letters. So besides the resume, there's also the cover letter. And what can you do with the cover letter? First of all, you can make it a little bit more personalized in terms of showcasing not only your strengths and interests and passions, but also what the company is looking for, and maybe what the AI was able to find about trends going on within that company's nuances, within their corporate structure, within their industry, within their geographical region. You can have the AI do that research for you and incorporate some of those things into your actual cover letter. You can use it for writing support. Here's the cover letter that I have. What do you think of it? How much should I update it in order to make it more impactful, to make it sound more conversational, to make it sound more friendly, to showcase my skills and enthusiasm for the role? So you could do a lot of different things with it. Here you have a sample prompt for crafting or updating your cover letter. Again, it's going to turn the AI into sort of like a brainstorming career coach, essentially. You can use it for job application emails, the emails that you're sending to companies, maybe even inquiring, do you have any jobs? Hey, I saw that you posted about blah, blah, blah. Maybe do you have a job? I didn't see any job postings, but maybe something is coming up in the future. So you can send these as emails to various people that you come across online, or maybe from a networking event, etc., that are in a particular type of company or industry that you want to go after. And here you have a sample prompt for that too. Next, let's say you are getting ready, you're invited to an interview, and now you're shaking in your boots. You're like, oh my God, what do I do next? How do I prepare for this interview? There's a lot that you can do with AI to prepare for the interview. First, as I mentioned before, you can have AI help you to do research about the company, to give you some practice questions, and to help you in the end build confidence so that you walk into that interview feeling, all right, that might hit me up with completely different questions than what the AI gave me, but I'm feeling pretty good about this. I think I have a solid understanding of the key talking points that I should be focusing on. And here you have the sample prompt that you can copy and paste into whichever AI tool you choose in order to do some of that. Next, to build a professional online presence with AI. Whether we like it or not, when you apply to a job, someone is going to do a Google search. Someone is going to go on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter. You can cringe now, but guess what? It's happening anyway. People are doing it. They're curious. And you want to make sure, at the very least on LinkedIn, that your presence on LinkedIn, it's not a blank page that they're landing on. So you can use AI to come up with what words should you put on your LinkedIn profile? What type of content should you be posting about to demonstrate your enthusiasm and skills and knowledge and expertise and hobbies that all fit with the type of role that you're looking for? So here I'm giving you a sample prompt to help you with your online presence. Now, by the way, most of us are thinking about it as it relates to exclusively LinkedIn. We're going to get to LinkedIn in a moment to focus even more granular on LinkedIn. But you could do this on Twitter. You could do it on Instagram. You could do it on TikTok. You could be showing best practices. As you're learning about a new feature or a new skill in ServiceNow, you could be creating TikToks about it, simply explaining how excited you are to learn about this new feature that came out or that's coming out in a couple of weeks. So these are the kinds of things that you can do. Networking tips and strategies. You can use AI from a brainstorming perspective to figure out where should I be looking to do some networking, or I get to the networking event and I'm really shy. Give me some pointers on what I should talk about, on who I should be looking out for. I met the following 4 people. How do I follow up with them? What do I say to them? So there's a lot of different things that you can do from a networking perspective. Again, I'm giving you a prompt to help you out with that. Here we're talking a little bit more specifically about building your online persona with AI specifically for LinkedIn. Because unlike other platforms, you can be sure that the hiring managers, the people in HR that are coming across your job application, your resume, or hear about your name, meet you at a networking event, you can be sure that they are looking you up on LinkedIn. And having a blank profile is about as bad as not having any profile. There's no reason in the world for them to get excited about talking to you if your LinkedIn profile basically shows nothing, crickets. So this can help you tremendously. Again, I'm giving you a prompt in order to help you with all of that. So in the end, I think what we have on this slide, essentially wrapping it all up and demonstrating there are a lot of really creative and exciting ways that you can use AI to help you with your job hunt, is the core underlying message that I'm trying to get through to all of you today. And with that, I'll call it a wrap, unless there are any questions that anyone wants me to address. Wow, 6:01. Come on, is that good or what?
No, Dave, you look, man, I know it's a bunch of questions. Look, we're gonna stay a little bit longer because I want to make sure we get these questions answers in the chat. Raise your hand. Is Mary still on? Mary still here?
I'm here.
No, I was just saying, if there are any questions in the chat, let's start with the questions in the chat first, if we see any, and then we'll go to hands being raised.
I see Joanna asked about getting the slides in Circle. I'm going to do that right now.
You know what,
Yes.
David? Yeah, you have access to Circle.
Yeah.
But if you want to share it with me, what I'm going to be doing is putting them in in that career resource center where I posted all the session abstracts. So if you want to
Okay.
share that, I can make that. I can do that.
Okay. I will email it to
Or
you.
if you do, I don't know if you have access to the alumni section. Like, where can you post? But you have all the access, don't you?
I have no idea.
That's not true. You do. You have it all.
I'm going to navigate right now. So what's it called in Circle? I'm not going to share my screen because I don't know. Something might come up in Circle that
Right.
others aren't supposed to see.
Yeah,
What would it
let's
be
work
called?
with that. Let's work on that after. Or is it, do people want the copy paste, right? Like, let's work on that after.
Okay.
CJ saying upload it to the chat. There's always a third option.
Coming up right now.
Too big? Maybe too big.
And then Amy, will you step in for me, or Ayana? Just from a question standpoint, I actually have to roll off to a 6 o'clock.
I just uploaded it to the chat. You all have it.
Whoop, whoop.
Can we download it?
You're all very welcome. By the way, you can all feel free to follow me on LinkedIn or any other of your favorite social media platforms, being the geek that I am. And I will say that generally speaking, most of the content that I share happens to be, don't cringe, happens to be Salesforce-centric, but I'm in the process of quietly, slowly removing the focus that much on Salesforce and broadening it a little bit more, because there are a lot of the content and best practices and tips that I share are really about project management and gathering business requirements and managing your career. And yes, I'm packaging it to the Salesforce ecosystem. It's exactly the same for the ServiceNow ecosystem. So don't get distracted just because you see the word Salesforce everywhere.
Oddly enough, there are administrators and developers and business analysts and all of the roles that we just talked about in all of the low-code platform enterprise application ecosystems. So you've just learned a transferable skill. Just saying out
Exactly.
loud.
Exactly. What else do you guys want to see or hear about from me, if anything? I'm happy to.
I'm one question in the Q&A, so I just wanted to double check that. Did we want to go through those, or do we want to do?
Oh, there's a hands up.
I don't think we have any other questions in the chat, but we do have Jess's hand up, and then we have the one Q&A.
Yeah, all right, Jess.
Hi, David. Watching that live demo was awesome, especially with it being my resume. So that was pretty cool. But I have one question. How would you,
Go ahead, spit
okay. Would you paste in your resume first and then put the job description as a next message if you're trying to tailor it to that specific job description? Because I know sometimes with AI being used to go through the possible hundreds or thousands of applications they're getting for these, you want to really gear towards those keywords that are in the job application. How is the best way to format that and putting both of those things into the ChatGPT or whatever?
That is a fantastic question. And hang on one second. I'll start a brand new chat and I'm going to show you right now how I would do that. The short answer is that the sequence of what you put in first really does not matter
Okay.
at all. But to your point, you need to put in both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first let me do a Google search for ServiceNow system add job posting. And let's find any. Does not matter where it's from. And let's just grab show full description. It's here. And let's grab this whole thing. And I'm going to go into ChatGPT. And again, act as an experienced career coach. Now, by the way, even as you see that, oh my gosh, Dave, you've been typing the same darn thing over and over again so many times in the last hour. This is where having templates is helpful. So I'm not trying to get you to purchase this app. After purchasing this plugin, I realized, wait a minute, I could have my own Google Doc with my own templates right in there. You can do it for free. You don't have to. And I do have a database of ChatGPT prompts that I use on a regular basis, in addition to having access to this thing. As you start using AI, don't be surprised if you find yourself often referencing some really good prompts that you've created and have worked really well for you. Save them anywhere, in Apple Notes app, in a Google Doc. It doesn't matter. But anyway, act as an experienced career coach, specifically focused on specializing, throw in all of those words, ServiceNow system admins to find amazing jobs. I need your help refining my resume for a specific job posting. And I copy and paste both the job posting and my resume here, and you can hopefully help me through this. I'm being purposely vague here. I'm purposely not even giving it specific instructions on what I want. This is just to show you how these tools really understand language. They are masters at language. So basically it's saying, yeah, get started, dude. What the heck are you waiting for? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to say, here's the job posting that I'm considering, considering applying for. And I'm just going to hit paste. And now it's going to say, okay, give me the resume. So let's go here, and I'm opening up Word on the side and copying the resume. That's fantastic. Please paste your resume here. See? So here's my resume. And yes, Jess, I'm still using yours. I have it open.
That's fine.
Jess,
I
your
posted the
resume is
draft.
already.
I said I realized I posted the draft once you copy and paste
It
I was
doesn't
doing that.
matter. Jess, your resume is already a strong testament to your capabilities. If that doesn't boost your confidence, come on, what does? Capabilities and dedication as a ServiceNow professional with a bit of fine tuning to align it more closely with the for here. I guess that's the company that I copied the job posting from. We can enhance its impact. Let's go through it section by section, starting from the top. See, again, it gave the revised outputs. And then I could say, you know what? I really don't want to do all of that much copying and pasting. So I could say, fantastic. Can you rewrite my entire resume incorporating these things into your output? And it's going to meld it all together. So now all I have to do in the end is copy and paste it and back into Word to format it the way I want. So it doesn't matter. So to answer your question, which should you have to do first? It does not matter. It does not matter. But what you need to do is make sure that both are in there and ask it the right questions. By the way, you could also, and you could say, I'll do this here in a moment. Actually, while it's still typing, I'll just type here. Let me ask you, what areas do you think I lack as it relates to this job posting? Are there specific skills that I don't mention that they need? Based on the job posting, the details for your resume, you have a strong foundation, many of the skills, okay. Let's explore some areas where you might enhance your qualifications or clarify your existing skills. See, you can still take it from a brainstorming perspective.
That's awesome.
Listen, AI, you now have these two things. What do you think the deltas are? What are the gaps? What are the weaknesses? What are the strengths?
It's
There's
really
still
cool.
a lot that you could do with it. Fun with this. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
You just dropped the mic, man. You just dropped the
Talk
mic.
about this for hours. I would be thrilled.
I can,
Dave,
and I'm happy to.
Yeah, you gotta find a way to get you back, Dave.
My pleasure. And by the way, I can take this in like a million different directions. For example, if let's say you wanted to create a script for TikTok on, for any of you, throw out any, I'm going to start a brand new chat over here, throw out any particular feature or aspect of being a ServiceNow system admin to use as an example, like even something small. When I say small, it could be a big important feature, but it could be like just one tiny niche thing.
How to set up an approval flow.
Act as an experienced social media guru. I need your help creating a script for TikTok. I'm a ServiceNow system admin and really want to boost my online presence, showcasing my enthusiasm and expertise on the platform. Help me write a short script for a video talking about, what was the feature again? I'm sorry.
An approval thing for flow design.
Approvals for Flow Designer, where I'm sharing why I think this feature is a game changer for system admins to solve problems at their companies. So again, I'm being vague. I'm just saying I need a script that should be for TikTok on this topic, and here are my goals. I'm not giving it granular instructions here. Let's see what we got. Opening scene, you looking directly into the camera, excitement in your eyes. You, hey, TikTok, ever felt like you're juggling 1,000 tasks at once, trying to streamline operations in your company? What if I told you there's a game changer out there for us system admins? Cut to a clip of you pretending to juggle, then abruptly stopping and facing the camera again. I'm talking about the approvals for Flow Designer feature in ServiceNow. Yeah, you heard me right. Let's dive into why this is a must-have in your arsenal. Transition to a screen share showing a simplified diagram or animation of a Flow Designer interface without going into too much technical detail. Imagine automating the approval process of literally any request in your organization, from IT to HR requests. This feature makes it happen with just a few clicks. on and on. Give me a break. Even if you want to change this up, even if you say, yeah, I would never talk like that. If this gets you 60% of the way there, you're good. What do you think? You can have a lot of fun with this.
That's
Phenomenal.
incredible.
Phenomenal. Over here, yeah.
Now, by the way, let's say, watch, I'm going to do this. This is great, but I'm too shy. I don't want to be on camera. Instead, I want to turn this into a LinkedIn article that's about 800 words. 800 words. Can you write it for me? Let's see what we got. There you go. And again, even if the wording is way too formal, even if it doesn't go as much in depth on certain things that you would like, or it goes too much in depth on some nitty-gritty technical aspect that you're like, I would never focus on that. Even if it gets you 50 to 60 to 70% of the way there, this is huge. And you can always refine it in the ways that I showed you before by giving it feedback saying, okay, yeah, like that's great, but make it sound a little bit more friendly. Add some humor, add some snarky, funny jokes into the mix. Talk about some of the pain points associated with whatever it might be.